Man, you look like a hippie.
I guess it's been 4 weeks since I've been here, Joe.
It's been 4 weeks since your last confession.
Exactly.
Do you hear the one about the guy goes to the barber and he says, look at what she did. That's not a taper. And the other barber says to the customer, did you go and tell that barber that what she did? He says, yeah, she said the clipper did it.
That's not one of the strong points for you.
You're not on any blood thinner, are you?
Of course.
You are?
Just be
You're
careful.
not on hepatitis C, do you?
No, just be careful.
Barbering 101. You have to.
So he's recording it, so
yeah, I know.
so
Yeah, don't say anything.
No, do my eyebrows too. Don't forget.
Of course. Yeah,
Don't send me out with one.
Your nose hair, sir?
Just do them both. Don't just do one.
Your eyebrows are pretty good. Like this guy that was in the chair the other day, Bob. You're pretty tough. I mean, I just got water all over your face and
That's
whatnot,
all right.
and you're okay. You know, you're an old trooper. The other day, I had this fellow in the chair, and he says, "Oh, did you get some oil in my ear from your clipper?" And I said, "Yes, I did. Sorry about that. Let me give you a hot towel." You know, come. Wait, one last.
Yeah, don't turn me out before it's done.
Look at that, no blood. And just to be sure, somebody crack a joke.
We're trying to do it without the adverbs and adjectives. So we're struggling
Oh,
to find
yeah, screw that.
Yeah, okay. Can't talk about politics.
Well, you gotta be careful. No, you can't shit talk about the weather either. You can't talk
No, weather, a
about
chance of rain.
I had some guy tell me I was very ignorant because I didn't agree with something that he was, I don't know. Yeah, I had a sign on the mirror for a long time. We don't discuss politics, religion, or the weather.
Yeah.
What are you getting
What does that leave? Girls and work?
Huh?
What does that leave? Girls and work? Kind of narrows down the list.
Yeah, it does, sure does. 40 years. But who's counting? The first 35, I didn't really want to do it. How did I get into it? Jazz got me into barbering. I had an injury and I couldn't play music, and I was aspiring to be a jazz guitarist, although I didn't know that I couldn't be because I'm not that talented. But I cut my hand and I walked into a barbershop where a jazz musician was a barber. And he said, "Why don't you do what I do?" And I said, "I already play guitar." Yeah, and he said, "No, cut hair. You're an Italian. You'd be a natural." He actually said that to me. And that's how it started. Next thing I know, I was in barber school. As soon as I put on the smock, I felt right at home.
So you got a license?
The grooming of men. Now, of course, if I have to trim this guy's nostril hairs, I'm closing up. I was doing the Tony Awards, and they started announcing Al Pacino was going to arrive in 15 minutes. And all the people around me that were doing hair and makeup, sort of, except for my boss, the head guy, were all a little bit nervous. And Al Pacino walked in, and it was like looking at him in a movie. It could have been a flat screen TV. He looked exactly like he does on TV. And he went and he sat down, and he became invisible as my boss did his makeup. He came over to me, and he said, "Don't fuss with him very much. He doesn't want to be fussed with." So I walked over and I put my hands on his shoulder and said, "How you doing?" George Carlin walked up to me one time and said, "What's your name?" And I said, hi. And I had to look at a card. I really was I was gobsmacked that George Carlin was standing in front of me and wanted a haircut. Now, of course, there were 30 people cutting hair in this place, and there was a lot going on. So I asked him to give me a minute because I couldn't believe he was standing in front of me, and he said, "You know, I can't believe it either. There used to be a lot of clip joints around here. What the heck happened?" I don't really know what that means. Sanctuary. I think people think this is like Mayberry. It's a tradition. Barbering was a tradition, like baseball was the national sport at one time. Now it's football. Barbering at one time was very prevalent, and men went to barber shops and women went to hairdressers who worked in the back of the barbershops usually, in back of where the leaseholder had space in the back for hairdressing. And it's just old-timey feel, I think, that I project here, and it's kind of like a museum. You've got, little vintage antiques around. But I'm like the oldest antique in here, I think. No, actually, that record player might be. And so it's just, they tell me it's a nice place to hang out. Although, here's the good news. If you put a barber pole up, this old timer told me when I was starting out, some guy's finally going to ask you for a haircut, so do a good job. I said, what's the bad news? He said, the guy may never leave.